have a very special guest today, someone who knows what it's like to be behind camera, but today we have him on camera. He has worked for the BBC. He is working for the BBC. He does podcasts. He does all sorts of things. And he is very talented, having studied dentistry once upon a time and then making a change in career. And then, of course, now sitting with us and talking to us about his career change. And now, of course, we have with us Bobbie Rahman. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for such a kind intro. I mean, I feel flattered.
No, well, I'm flattered to have you on the show today. How are you?
Yes, all good. Thank you very much.
Alhamdulillah. Now, I understand, of course, you went to university and you studied a bit of dentistry. Tell me how that went.
Yeah, so, you know, as most kids, Asian kids.
Yes, Asian kids.
You know, you go into, you don't know, I didn't know what I was doing at that age. And yeah, you know, I was quite smart. So I just did all the sciences and then went into dentistry in Birmingham Uni. And then, yeah, I just didn't feel it. And I thought, okay.
Was there any specific reason why you didn't feel it?
There is, but it's not PG. No, I'm joking. No, it was just, no, yeah, that's essentially, you know, it
and
was
British
just,
teeth.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
just looking at teeth all day, I think is not great. And I'm quite creative, and I was always into creating media, so whether that's photos or videos. So yeah, I don't know, and I decided on a whim to have a little change. I didn't know what I wanted to change to, but I knew it was something creative, and then. You know, over the years, it was 12 months, and then I started my own production company, and then that led on to, you know, a sort of domino effect onto everything else.
So then you started your own production company, and how did you go about doing that? Because, of course, I understand opening your own production company isn't easy. You need to have, well, funds for that matter. And, of course, the support is something you need because you're starting it from afresh. So how did you go about doing that?
So my dad helped me initially with, like all parents.
As all parents,
he didn't believe me, but he went, oh, you know, just try it.
He was trying to believe in your dreams, yes.
And then it was just getting equipment to start off with and doing little jobs, and even just for the love of the format of creating film or photos and doing it for, you know, from a point of view of enjoyment. And then to monetize that later on, I realised, okay, this needs to be a business because I'm really passionate about it. So I thought, okay, so let's go to lots of networking events. And, you know, it is meeting lots of people. And through a networking event, after 3-4 years of churning out these videos for not so much money, you go, I went to a networking event and, yeah, they liked my work. And then I got into a day at BBC and then straight away I got in as an assistant producer and then went to a producer and then I did a documentary for BBC Three.
I'm going to stop you there because now I'm curious about what work you've done. And that said, I know the producers have found a clip and we want to share that with our audience. So let's go see that clip. And that was, of course, a very lovely clip of your good work. But of course, I understand there's more recent work.
Oh yeah, that's quite an old video. But yeah, there's quite, you know, there's recent work from television and you know, the upper echelon of the industry. So creating films and a lot of adverts for clients.
Yeah. How long does it take to actually make one of those clips? I mean, I know a lot of work goes into it.
So I'll give you a recent example. Yeah. We did this for this medical company. They wanted an advertisement on this older lady who had some treatment, and it's a success story. So it went. She couldn't do her farming to when she could actually do it. And we needed to make a story with that. So it takes time to sort of do a lot of pre-production work.
Of course.
So writing a script, making sure storyboard it, and then actually going doing it, and then the process. So the process took about 2 weeks.
Okay, that's
but it can get, depending on the size of the project, it can be quite extensive.
Alhamdulillah, and of course now seeing the work, you've got your own production company. That's a big deal. But of course, then you moved on to, I understand, the BBC.
Yes.
How did you go about finding this opportunity? And when you did get that opportunity, what was it like?
So it was creating pieces like that,
Yes,
and then you create a show reel, and I kept on going to these networking events, and I got on with one of the production assistants who actually sorts out producers and directors, and I was quite confident I can talk a little bit, and I sort of charmed them, and it got an opportunity, and passion comes through, I feel, and I believe that, they took me on, and got me on as an assistant producer to start off with, and learn the ropes, and then within a few months I was doing producing and then directing. So a bit of everything really, and then it's a fantastic opportunity because with the BBC you get to travel, especially with the sport, you get to travel. So the Olympics and the European Championships are coming up, so I'm looking forward to that really.
Alhamdulillah. So now that, of course, you're in the BBC, and you're doing these podcasts, I understand, as well.
Yes.
So tell me a bit about that.
So this podcast happened recently. It's actually with another, the viewers might be familiar, it's with MSA, Muslim Sports Association.
Yes.
It's with the chair and founder, Yasmin, and Shafia and Salma. It's called the Empower Her Play podcast. It's quite an interesting podcast. I hope the viewers go and subscribe and listen.
Yes, do subscribe.
And so it's just an interesting opinion on what's happening in the world, talking about sport. So it's a unique sort of show, and laughter.
Laughter,
I mean, those three laugh a lot.
Of course. Now, I was going to say, in terms of finding these opportunities, because I understand a lot of the young viewers are watching this show. Yeah. So how do you go about finding these opportunities? Because you went from, of course, being in the dentistry, being in dentistry school, then you went on to make your own production company, and then, of course, you worked for the BBC, and you've gone to these networking events, and you've made those networks. But what else can young people do to venture out to people?
You have to roll the dice a little bit, I'm not going to lie.
Yes.
But it is, if you're passionate about something, it doesn't have to be media, it can be anything. I think if you're passionate about things and you go gung-ho about it, I think it comes through, and people see that, and they give you an opportunity. Yeah, you need a bit of luck, and you need a bit of a helping hand. Yeah. But I think if you're enthusiastic enough, I think it comes through. And there are lots of networking events out there, whether it's on LinkedIn or Eventbrite, and just getting your face out there. I think that's key.
Of course. And then another question I was going to ask, and I think I struggle with this a lot, is public speaking. How do you better that?
Public speaking, I had to work at it. I was naturally introverted as growing up. And then you just realise if you want to go and achieve something, you just have to force yourself a little bit. And then you have, I have a persona where it's sort of like a business persona, and you sort of, you deal with public speaking. I think you just get used to it. I think it's practice.
Of course.
But there's a lot of courses on public speaking.
Yeah, there's of course courses, but then I just think to myself, okay, I can do it, but it just feels very unnatural because I just don't feel the pressure. But then when I'm, let's say right now, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not under pressure or anything, but I'm just saying, guys, but it does feel like it's sort of putting me in that stage where I have to perform. So I understand what you mean.
Usually I'm behind the camera, so I don't have to do that. So, today I've been put into an awkward position.
I mean, he's doing a better job than I am, but it's fine. Anyways, but of course, is there anything that you've learned from dentistry school that you then applied to your entire career?
Just the hard work ethic. I think, doing that, there is a tough schedule. Yeah. With what I do, there is a tough schedule.
How do you maintain it?
Oh, it's lots of apps. And you have to have breaks here and there. I've been known to not have breaks, but breaks are important.
But that being said, of course, burnout. So then how do you deal with burnout then, even if it's little breaks?
That's quite a common thing, like, where you have a writer's block, you have, sometimes you just need to, for me it's space. I need space. If I can walk around, that helps a lot with creative things, but breaks, short and, regular breaks.
So, talking about regular breaks, when was the last time you had a break?
About 3 weeks ago.
Okay, that's
recent. To Holland for a bit, but that was it.
That's nice. Okay, so in terms of course, producing, is there any specific technology that helps you, of course, do that job much better?
So producing is one of those rare jobs where you can sort of learn on the job a little bit.
Okay.
It is about connections and knowing people
Yes.
and organising people, having good people skills.
Yes.
And then you have to be not a master of everything, but a knowledge of everything.
Okay.
So whether it's writing, whether it's editing, or getting the right personnel in to do those roles, and then creating a quality product that, whether it's for television or whether it's for a corporate client or whether it's for a podcast, is making sure that piece is sort of an extension of what they're thinking and even better it.
Okay. Talking about bettering, is there any success story that you've had with like one of your production company, like the work that you've done with your production company?
Yeah, so I was just saying we work with the non-profit Muslim Sports Association.
Yes.
So taking them out there, doing bits of content for them, and sort of, you know, diversifying the type of content. So hopefully not pigeonhole them in certain, you know, and so that, you know, multiple people of different backgrounds can enjoy their content. Hopefully donate to them, because they're a wonderful organisation trying to do something for the community.
Yeah, no, of course, 100%, and everyone should donate. But that said, of course, I also understand, given your busy schedule, you're in Birmingham soon.
Yes.
And it's for the Muslim Council of Britain.
Yes.
And I believe it's a TED talk.
Well, it's a keynote speech.
Okay, tell me a little bit about that.
It's the leaders of the sort of British Muslims talking about their industries. I'm doing a workshop on content and actually how marketing, get yourself out there and doing something different, not the stereotypical roles that I'm sure everyone's aware of.
Lawyer.
Yeah, I'm keeping my
lawyer. That's what he means.
Yes, you know, it's doing something different and trying to achieve things in different roles. Like, you know, actually with my production company, we're going to open a philanthropic side of that, so we can help Asian BAME people to get in to film, and especially I think Muslim women to get into film and creative, because you don't see it often. So I want to create that sort of avenue for Muslim women.
Of course. And that said, if anyone wants to reach out to learn a bit more about this, are they able to do that with? Yeah,
of course. Yeah. I'm available on LinkedIn, or you can find me on socials. Yeah, just message, and you know, I'm always there, willing to help. You know, I think that's, you know, a lot of people gatekeep these sort of things. I'm not in that sort of mindset.
I've had many. I've met many people over the course of like the past maybe 5 years, and they just never tell me anything. So yeah, this show is great. I get to learn a lot more. But of course, if there was any message that you would tell to your young self, what would that be?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah, I know. I thought about it before talking to you.
That's a good question. I don't probably stop being an idiot, but there we go. I don't know. Probably don't trust as many people as you can at the start, because unfortunately, not everyone
has the best interest.
melds together, and sort of sometimes you have to think about it twice rather than going head in, yeah, but I think making mistakes isn't a bad thing, I suppose. But you know, it's I think that will be a bit more careful.
Be more careful, of course. And is there any message that you want to pass on to our viewers today?
Regarding what?
Just anything, really.
No, I've got another business. I've got my travel business as well, the Influencers Travel. So we work with.
Yeah, I was going to say, check that out, because I've come across it, and it's good. Check that out.
So we work with a lot of social media stars and get them travel, and then we offer it to the general public too. So Influencers Travel, there you go, nice little plug. I'm just
saying, guys, everyone's been travelling over the pandemic. If you want to be travelling to some of these destinations, you need to get in touch. Right, thank you so much for being on the show today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.